Chapter 35. Problems, problems, and only problems. The woman on the reception was nearly shouting, and it looks as she spoke with the air. But the other person behind the back receptions door didn't say anything, but Dominic saw the shadow behind the glass how was moving, had as an proof on the words by the woman who was possible to had seen. I think that these children don't deserve something like that. They shouldn't learn anything about a terror. Woman was right. Dominic felt that too. Everything should be present on this world as the shapes. Finally, Dominic recognized that person behind the door was a woman also. By the sound of voice, it could belong to the lady in age. It sounded familiar, but Dominic couldn't remember where that heard from. Yes, you're right. You and me are thinking that way, but there is someone who has an opposite opinion. Life would be hard or not be enough interesting if some situations are not hold. The woman with nice dress looked at Dominic as she noted her present in that moment. Yes, dear, how can I help you? She made a polite smile on her face. Oh, yes, Dominic moved with her head as she's just woke from the dream. But it was only from thoughts. He, oh, the woman's face was beautiful, with leads of age on it, but very nice. I wonder if you can help me. She stopped for the second as her mind was looking for right decision, as was that as right person to ask. Maybe should be better to discuss about it with some detective. But anyway, she didn't anything to lose. There are same door up there. I mean, there's some door up there as this one behind you. Dominic looked at a woman, and her view had the weighted question in it. Do you know what was there? She sounded as a naive girl. Why? The note in the woman's face was the same. Well, I hear every night some strange, like an whistle sounds. She didn't want to tell about her visit on that place. No, my darling, I really don't know. Dominic didn't believe her. It was some kind of irony and expression on her face. Young woman opened her mouth to say something more, but she changed her mind at least, and at last moment. Ignore that. It was the woman's advice. Yes, answered Dominic, and without any more words left. She didn't think about that was her reaction polite. She wasn't full of experience about feeling out or made conversation with wise and trained people would be hard to discover the truth. It was a nice and comfortable morning. Dominic choose the street with the markets to have a walk. Passing through the people, she still was thinking how, watching people whose were buying and those one whose were offering the different kind of goods. She wondered why their politeness was so highly expressed. Was it because of the fear, or Dominic was watching those people, how they were walking, standing, and waiting for something and someone to notice them? And she admired them because of their patience, or was it at all? Maybe they were so deep in themselves, maybe they hide their emotions so strong and so hard it looks like how they didn't have it. They seems to her as moving dolls with only one point. What the, the point was could be a huge prize to find something like that. The Dominic, the poison she's never thought as it was in that moment. Something strange was passing through her blood, or maybe it was mature opinion. In those last few days, since her group arrived in that place, Dominic felt how became older too much older. Every step she did it without thinking because of it, because if I would start to pay attention on it, she couldn't be able to make any movement at all. Some kind of pressure was over her body, and it did so good job. The devil won. Everything what we do it for our because of own self. So, if it is like that, and it is, I would like those everything now we made it a private thing. No explanation, no public, no any stories about what am I going to tell you now. Dominic heard the voice behind her back. She wanted to turn back, but the voice stopped her. Do not show how I'm here. Just walk and I'll be behind you to give you instructions how and where to go. If you don't want to find out the truth about what you've been looking for, then stop right here and I'll leave. From everything, what she could recognize was the note of a woman's voice behind the door of the reception. But something strange had been bothering her too. That was something what reminded her on what she already heard, but not few hours ago. It was more before. For a few seconds she didn't make a move, but finally decided to follow instructions by what a woman gave it. After a few minutes of walk, she collected the straight to ask without turn, "Why did you choose me?" She repeated question when woman's answer didn't respond. Everyone has mission on this world. It was strange and short explanation instead to start to gut feel better. Dominic was frightened than ever before. I didn't do anything wrong, Dominic continued to had complain. Who said that you did that? Asked woman. I want to show you something how you could get the clear picture about a horror. Woman didn't touch the Dominic's shoulder. If that is mistake, then I'm in trouble. Young woman didn't move as she was afraid that her contact with a woman behind her could be broken. I agree with you. I was young once before. We also didn't like fights, war, lies, even that someone tried and still does to put that on our back. Woman had a strong voice. Maybe it was because of the emotions, or maybe it was because of the cold weather. We didn't hate anyone, but someone hated us. She was deeply insulted, and Dominic could felt it. Everything nice turned back because of someone's enjoying that terror. War against who and why? Dominic didn't know the answer. She wanted to help, but she didn't know how. The rest of the walk, the only sound was people's movement next amongst two of them. Dominic couldn't start to scream. She wouldn't do anything, but didn't. She wanted to find out what woman had to say. When someone started to stay out of the faith, what was necessary to do next? Her voice broke Dominic's thoughts. The important thing is how to be the friend, and the important thing is how to learn to be a good friend. After a short silence, woman started to talk. Have you got a friend? It was obviously that question mentioned to Dominic. I know too many friends, but I am not sure are they showing on the right way their one. Dominic was afraid that if she could say something more about her relation with people, that could harm them. If they were her friends, could be bad. They were by her. If she representing them could be a bad also, but maybe hate wouldn't touch them. At least she didn't know the person and who that woman could be on the list. All my life, with every possible explanation, I wonder where voice came from, where view came from, where heart's beating came from. Woman stopped for the moment. Probably it was hard for her to move. Dominic slowed down a little bit. Someone should see all of this. Dominic felt sorry for the woman because there was sorrow in her tone. You're a romantic person, aren't you? She didn't know had that question was on the right place. Yes, I am, but I still wonder where love came from because if I knew that, I would go on that place and start to ask for more, for myself and for the others. She sounded as a little girl. Maybe this isn't very good idea, but think that could education for problems in present. So maybe our problems less. Maybe you'll learn how to deal with loss. There are many kind of it, but the human loss is over everything. Dominic knew how her pain could looks like. Remember, girl, this what am I going to tell you. Mark it as a historical moment. Now her voice was strange and a little bit rude. After everything what I've been through, my girl, I couldn't stand any bad news for a long time. It could made me feel sick. Woman continued to spoke. Next moment Dominic was in someone's arm. What are you doing here? It was familiar voice by her friend Diamond. Diamond, Dominic looked up and collected a straight two turned. I am, she wanted to introduce the woman behind, and at the same moment to show her, but there's no one was there. She slowly turned around, but nothing, not any lead by her followers. Yes, Diamond waited for an answer. Nothing. I wanted to eat somewhere outside. She quickly found the explanation. Oh, great, let's go and eat together. I'm hungry too. Dominic continued to walk with Diamond, still wonder what happened with that woman. Chapter 36. Do you know how it looks like when you want to prove the clear side of your being? Did you ever be in situation to explain your justice, your innocence? Did you? It was by old professor friend to Dominic and Diamond next morning when they were in visit. It was his question. You should feel that kind of energy when innocent men want to show everyone the guiltless by own. It was very powerful, believe me, said with sorrow smile on his face. I tried to defend myself because of the bad marks in the school, and it really wasn't my fault. Professor remember something from the past and waited for the moment to take revenge on myself. I really had a bad time to explain my parents what was the reason of my problem. Diamond wanted to relax the atmosphere. Yes, and you still remember. Injustice is something what could hurt and destroy. So we tried to did and found was better life, but it wasn't possible. Who we are to win, why we are so important, why we better than the others. We want something, but if we want, we should be perfect. We didn't know the answer. That was our loss. Someone didn't want to share the things. Someone didn't want to love someone, felt anger, dis- disdain, and disgust. But we didn't know the answer and we didn't know the noble way of fight. Then one day, one man told us how we should try to find the solution for their problem. That was the only way of how to open the road to the others and their hearts. Did you hear the sound of your heart when it is so painful because of the hate? The professor's hand started to shake. He was very disturbed. He was very disturbed with that kind of evil from the past. Dominic felt sorrow for the old man. Whoever he was, whatever he did, she knew that he didn't do anything. That old face deserved much better from the life. I was with love in my ideas that it wasn't possible to see how I became so possessed with ideology that slowly walked deep into the fantastic roads. Then I met her. I met a woman who helped me to get back on the right way. She was something wonderful in my life. We were fighting together for our ideas, but now it was different. See, I am maybe the old fashioned man, but these days love is not as was it before. Interests are different, but everywhere, every time brings the authentically own. It was some kind of resigned of his fate. I never wanted move from the life except what was normal, but sometimes people thought how that normal could be too much for you and how they need to take it away just like that. His convention was so open hearted. I don't know, but sometimes I usually like to say that it's better to be a friend with them as powerful than with me as a victim. People like to admire the strong one, to dangerous one. Dominic agreed with that, but she didn't say anything and was waiting what and how his story would continue to. I do not like to overcry on my destiny, but maybe my experience could help. Everything has reason for everything, and I will tell you something which I haven't seen since now. Whole this, what am I reconstructing for, and hold this, what I try to forget, are still here. He showed with a finger on his head. And it isn't only because of the conscience, it was because of love. I love people and everything. What I did and still do it is because of them. Maybe no, I am sure that I made mistakes, but this is some kind the ask for forgiveness. He started to cry. Dominic wanted to stood up and held him, but he looked so proud and so untouchable that made her to felt respect than ever before. You are the brave man. That was everything what she succeeded to say. And there were the right words. Old man looked at her, and he recognized little bit of his youth in that young woman's eyes. They were shiny because of the tears. The tears are the best way how to stop someone in wrong steps. Whatever they did or ever they are, even the strongest one or sadistic at least be peaceful in their egoistic emotions. But you have to nice to recognize what and how a person really looks like. When you do that, then your human activities are on the right way. Everything else is normal following steps, said Dominic, like the philosophy of that man, and it was the truth that she didn't like to cry was part of the fight. Fight for something good, and that good were every feeling which explained as a gift. She asked, and she was giving through the tears. Some people have to be mad people, can't live peacefully or normal life. They need to interrupt the others to make them feel afraid or to keep them under control. The professor said, madness. Everything was nothing else than madness. Dominic looked at the diamond. He didn't make any move, but both of them knew that this man was right. Chapter 37. The Dominic whole time wonder what happened with that woman who followed her. She didn't know. Was this the right moment to tell her friends about her and what happened on the street? Strange, said more for herself, but Diamond heard her. Pardon me, he asked. Dominic looked at him. Strange, I said, she repeated. I don't have feeling that I am comfortable here, even that I should find something wonderful in this air. Whole life is round, explained herself. I'm afraid So much strange people are circling around, doing something, want something from me, and I don't know what. She raised her voice as was trying to run away from that something. I tried so much. She stood up so fast that all her papers fell down on the floor. Diamond started to pack them. Oh, leave it. I don't need this at all. Dominic was very nervous. Something is wrong. Diamond was wise. He couldn't miss that kind of strong sadness among the anger because of disappointment around this beautiful young woman body. He noted it early on the beginning. It is hard for the people to accept the truth. They like that. They want to like, but it is opinion, and until it is not dangerous, then we don't have to worry. Even Dominic didn't explain her problems. Diamond needed to say something. I thought that you are a hard person, he said when Diamond's face was broken. I am, was slow answer, but I wasn't prepared for something like this. You've just said that something like that was necessary to happen. She was optimistic girl and thought how something bad could happen frozen her mind. Weren't there enough victims that my family gave? What more? Why? Do you think that this is normal? Diamond knew that she was right. I do not have any obligation to anyone. I didn't anything to anyone. She was on the corner of cry. Her law satisfied and obviously. Her law satisfied was obviously. Have you got any idea why this should be connected with you? Diamond was careful with his question. He didn't want to push up more sad feelings. I didn't think so. I didn't have so. I didn't plan anything. I'm not in any conspiracy with anyone. Dominic was shouting as she wanted to do something what could help her, but he didn't know what. Everything what he could do or say would be make situation worse than it was. Do you like me? His language was faster than the mind. Sorry, Diamond corrected himself. I'm too much in the future. He didn't know how to get out from this. Dominic looked at him. Her eyes were rolling. Diamond didn't expected a punishment by, but he felt unpleasant. He decided to continue. What I didn't say anything wrong. I have right to know. Do you like me or not? We are enough mature to speak open. He ignored everything what could be her reaction. He stepped closer, but Dominic moved a step back. She wasn't prepared for this. She wasn't ready for anyone with whom she could share her the deepest feeling. Sorry, I have to go to call my grandfather. I didn't. She wanted to pass next to him, but her hand stopped her. Dominic liked him a lot, but that wasn't the moment. I want to be the part of your life. Diamond said with low voice. Dominic didn't make any move. She looked at him with some kind on deep heart's way. If I could find situation for all this, I'll maybe open my heart. These days you have to be the killer to survive because you are surrounded with them. It was a stupid opinion, she knew, but it was important to say something what was close to the truth. It is hard to run away from oneself, but Dominic, it isn't like that. Diamond said her name on some kind of magnificent way. She looked at him, and his eyes were so nice. She was so weak that couldn't fight against her feelings, who's expected nothing else than love, naive, nice, and soft love. Wolves in lamb's skin, she said with low voice, but her thoughts were on the other side. Chapter 38. I have to take care about you. Grandfather was shouting from the other side of the phone. You know how it is important for me. You can't say that everything is okay when I feel through your voice. You simple sound different. Dominic moved her head a little bit away from her head because her grandfather's voice also was different and louder than usually. What she would do with him. That thought made her feel a little bit afraid. Everything is normal, but something wasn't easy to accept. If is so bad, I would call you to come. She was a big grown-up girl, but it was important to say something to relax her angel. She loved him so much in that moment. She turned back as waited to run away from her. Bad thoughts, but she didn't see the woman with flowers. The air which Dominic made around her blew down every flower that were in young woman's hands. Sorry. She dropped the phone from her hand and absolutely has forgotten about her grandfather. Sorry. She wanted to say something more, but in that last moment when young woman gave her a smile and moved her hand with sign how it wasn't important, Dominic concluded that she didn't speak the English. But what was more interesting, she looked the same as Oleg, or it was just her imagination. Before she had time to ask her anything, the young woman left. Dominic turned back to continue the far distant call. But hello, there wasn't answer from the other side. The line was broke. Does anyone listen to me anymore? She was talking with herself with a very hard, unstable voice. She tried to call the same number, but after a few moments it was a signal of discounted. What will be now? Dominic worried what her grandfather could think. What the atmosphere? She recognized Oleg's voice. First, everyone are so depressed, that is the possible to say so the grey color by their faces. No one want to share feelings. he was complaining. But Dominic wasn't listening what he said. She wondered about something else. The similar lines on faces between Oleg and that girl. Have you got any relatives in this place? It was not wise question, Dominic knew that, but she couldn't step back. He didn't look surprised as she expected. As far as I remember, no, he slowly answered. Why do you look so worried? It was obviously to note her sadness. I have a feeling that you stop to trust everyone, he continued to insist. Well, do you know, yes, know why people are afraid of death? She sounded very pathetic. I'll explain you. The reason is unknown. What could happen? It is better if we could explain and tell everything, otherwise, it is a pressure on a mind and a soul. She was right, and Oleg knew it, but he needed to give her some kind of support. Yes, but life is more interesting if we could discover bit by bit of everything. Oleg touched her hand. She looked at it first, then up on his face. It was something strange in the way of look, but Dominic didn't feel anything except how the young man in front of her was a complete stranger, instead, good, well-known friend. It was unpleasant feeling, and she didn't know why and where that came from. Sometimes I wonder where and why am I here. Dominic needed to say something as an excuse because of the thoughts. That nice and polite man didn't deserve that kind of coldness. Whatever you do, however you try to be kind and make people to respect or love you, or to make harmony between them, they will do how their feelings are or how they behave allow them. So don't worry, be whatever you think that is nice for you. He answered as read her thoughts. That didn't make her to be better. It became opposite. She felt guiltness. Every one of us has that wish to be over everyone and everything, to critic, to give advice, to do everything what is contrarily, contrarily and against nature of someone's personality. We have to listen, not to think. That is the problem. Anger, arrogance, made so powerful, so strong, and sure in own self. Those one who shouldn't be like that. Who shouldn't, mustn't feel that way. But unfortunately, they are. Dominic knew that he was right, but she didn't know why he had so much bitterness in his voice. Do you know why am I so ironic? Because I am desperate. Someone that you trust or to whom I gave so much after a good time and promising future left and forgot. And where am I in the middle of nothing? Everything that I don't want started to be my only destiny. Could you be again a friend? Which person like that? Dominic tried to understand him. Even that she listened carefully. She couldn't make a clear picture about what was really on his mind, but she realized the feeling because of her own self. I don't know how huge your relationship were, how much you were hurt, but anyway, you should find an explanation because you are wise and because you don't want to poison the heart of yours. The silence should not change. You accept that you have to think a little bit. She didn't know the better answer. How you know that is the same what you have to do. He was right. I wanted to tell you something. She slowly touched her hand. Nothing maybe would be better if I go to rest now. I need some privacy. Whatever she wanted to say, now it was spirit away from her mind. Chapter 39. I do not mind. I really don't mind about anything because everything should be. But I'm not the only one in this world. The other thing different. You can't say something that doesn't know how the product, the revolt or negative opinion. So should we be ourselves, or we should allow everyone to do what they think that is okay on their opinion. Dominic wondered and wondered, but nothing could make her feel better. Far away from home between strangers. She remembered the story by her grandfather. How was it to be in the own city between strangers who wanted the power? What was the worst? Humiliation by strangers or by people from the other spheres, but with same language. Was it a justice to help someone who was for sure murderer? You have right to talk, you have right to be yourself, and you have right to fight for your something, what is your. No one could take a soul except a God. No one can't and mustn't take your culture except if you want. She was talking by herself. Everyone thinks that they are so wise. No politeness, no culture, no thoughts about way of attitude. How should I be by myself? It was a hard question. Does everyone deserve the goddess love? I saw a woman who fighted and shouted on me in front of the Lord's home. She thought that her was right, even that I visited that place before I started to spoke. Did she made right to made my bitterness? With those thoughts she went on sleep.